It's the much anticipated fulfillment of a dream shared by many.
Massive changes on the way in Lawrence, Kansas.
Positive injection into this program, and it's exciting.
And even more high-powered offense masterminded by Wildcat legend Colin Klein.
I think we're definitely ahead of where we were at this time last year.
A glimpse of what the season ahead might hold.
And even a commitment in the middle of an international trip.
He's going to provide leadership, foreign experience.
Bold statements.
Tyler's the best shooter in America.
Big moves.
I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars of impact.
Excitement just might be at an all-time high for football in this state.
Things that you imagine and you dream of, since the beginning of us being here.
Values of discipline, commitment, toughness, and selflessness.
Kind of special and fulfilling.
I'm telling Coach Kleiman, that's a touchdown right there.
Gotta ask, is the University of Kansas a football school?
It's an everything school. It's an everything school, and that's what I love about it.
K-Nation is on the air.
K-Nation, sponsored by 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Tonight on K-Nation, after one of the biggest weeks, maybe in KU sports history, we've got the exclusive with Athletic Director Travis Goff. We'll talk new stadium, Lance Leipold's impact, and a whole lot more.
Plus, Wildcat basketball had a huge week, a commitment from the transfer portal, and 3 international games. We'll hear from Coach Tang on those.
And some legendary Jayhawks back in town this week for the big announcements, how they're reacting to huge moves within KU football.
And of course, welcome to K-Nation. I'm Lainey Gerber.
And I'm Glenn Kinley. Another Sunday and another exciting week. In fact, I've been counting down the days. We've been counting down the days to football season. Now we got to count down the days to 2025 football season.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that year. Ever since we launched this show, it's just been new building after new building after new building on these campuses, and KU just set off the biggest of them all.
Yeah, exciting stuff. We got news on Tuesday for the new Gateway project. That's David Boot Memorial, Kansas Memorial Stadium, and the surrounding areas. It's going to get a massive renovation. More details spilling out on the outside stuff, but as you can see there of some of those new pictures that we got of what it might look like, it's getting bigger and it's getting better. In fact, $300 million is the fundraising goal. That's for all the KU athletics projects coming up, not just the football stadium, but it is a promise kept for head coach Lance Leipold, and it also is an atmosphere driver, according to KU Chancellor Doug Girard.
It's exactly like you told us. It's exactly what you said, and that's one of the things that you want to be is delivering on what you say you're going to do. And the unfortunate thing about half the guys in the room may not ever play in it, but they know they're a big part of it.
Think of an outdoor Allen Fieldhouse. That's what we're shooting for, right? To create that kind of energy for a player in the middle of a game. Talk about home field advantage. That gives you a home field advantage.
And amongst the details, new chairback seating, bigger video board, more club suites, more concessions, more bathrooms.
Okay.
The list goes on.
Now we're talking.
Back in town, there's some pretty special alumni who are fired up about it too.
Showing that we're making football a priority here, and we want to make change, and we want to continue to see it rise. And with building this new stadium, it's going to change the whole vibe of Lawrence.
We've had more excitement than we've ever had before from the guys that I played with. We're talking about KU football. We're excited to watch the games. I mean, the product they're putting on the field is really top notch.
Now, KU does plan to play through the renovations with the grand reveal ahead of the 2025 season.
Yeah, so they won't change stadiums or play anywhere else. They're going to stay there.
Yeah.
It'll just be limited capacity, and we're actually going to get to more with that with Travis Goff.
Bear with it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, K-State has been preparing to go to back-to-back Big 12 championships, and everything we've heard from all this entire fall camp is that these players are bought in to do just that.
Yeah, these guys seem fired up. They really seem locked in and ready to go, and it doesn't take long for you to realize that when you watch these guys or you talk to these guys. We got to talk to a bunch of them this week, including Will Howard. He has taken the offense by storm since really being handed the keys and put in charge of that offense. And, well, confidence is almost as necessary as ability. The belief that you can get something done goes a long way, and Howard seems as confident as ever.
It's a lot better than some of the past years, fall camps. I've my just mentality overall and my confidence, like when I was a young kid, I'm out there, I make a bad throw, make a bad play, I'd get real down on myself. I'd, question myself a little bit. I don't get down on myself. My confidence is so much better that, I'm not questioning my ability if I make a bad throw. It's more like, oh, I'm better than that.
And the biggest question in the offseason was how to replace Deuce Vaughn. We've talked about it on this show a lot. Second biggest, how to replace Felix Anudike-Uzomah, which we've also talked about a lot. Defensive coordinator Joe Klanderman misses the king, of course, but he says he's real happy with the guys in place.
Obviously, with Khalid in that position, we feel like we've got a very dynamic pass rusher. I think Nate's a dynamic pass rusher. I've always said this. I think Nate's one of the best pass rushers in the country. Just hasn't been healthy for a whole year to prove it. And, you know, couple that with what Brendan Mott's doing, you know, we've got some guys that can really get after it on the edge.
We don't want to hype you guys up too much, but we only have one more K-Nation without a football game all the way through December.
One more, like instead of one more sleep, one more K-Nation.
There we go.
And then football. All right, hey, Andy Kolnicki told us last week on K-Nation that some players have started designing plays of their own. The best ones might even get used in games, and so far, well, that seems to be going pretty well. What the players thought might be a fun and creative way to get more involved in the offense has turned into really a deeper understanding of that offense. And in year 3 under Coach K's system, the players are getting the whys of the play calls, and it shows in the plays that they're bringing to their OC.
It's a coach and a teacher, right? And that's what we are. All we're trying to do is get these young men who, right, to critically reflect on what they're doing and what their goals are. Shows that they're getting it, and you know what I mean, that they understand what we're trying to do, and they kind of know some of the ins and outs of what we're doing offensively. So it's been fun to watch. They take it serious, and I have to.
I've been able to progress in the offense from the basic stuff that we originally put in. So being able to know the little keys of why we're running things, and to be able to know why Coach K would call a certain play in a certain situation allows me to be able to come up with these plays in my head. So we got a lot of plays that are going to be going in that are going to be nice.
And guess what, Lainey?
What?
KU football 12 days away from kickoff. 12 days. We're almost to single digits.
Oh, there we go.
Hopefully it'll get back under 110 by the time we get there.
Oh, hopefully.
Yeah.
Gosh. Otherwise, we're going to be fighting over
who gets to stay here. Yeah. Hey, don't go anywhere. We've got that exclusive interview with KU Athletic Director Travis Goff coming up. So much to talk about. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Plus, we're getting to all the hoops action. The Wildcats are overseas, and how KU will benefit a community overseas.
Jefferson's is the perfect spot to watch the game. Come try our new Loaded Macs, or pull up a seat at the bar and match our cold draft beer with our new Mac Burger. Find us at 29th and Wanamaker in Topeka or online at jeffersons.com.
At Caw Valley Bank, we're here to greet you with a smile. While the trend may be going less personal and virtual tellers, we have options. Banking online, ATM, mobile app, or in person. We have the same friendly service you've been able to count on for over 150 years. Caw Valley Bank. Trust the strength of the Caw.
You think knowledge is a powerful weapon? Here, you'll have plenty of ammo. We turn intelligence into tactical success. Explore more than 200 careers at GoArmy.com.
Jungle House has moved, and we would love to show you around our new digs. Bring a new friend to school with you that will add life to your dorm room or apartment. We have plans for all. Find us at our new location, 6 East 7th Street, Lawrence, Kansas.
Imagine looking at life through the eyes of a child, being filled with wonder and excitement about what the future holds. Lewis Toyota knows a strong community starts with those who will one day lead us.
We want to thank the Washburn Rural School District for letting us be a part of their school.
Let's remember, shop local.
Sports! We have everything
that you're looking for
at Play It Again Sports.
New and used sports and fitness equipment with used up to 50% off retail.
You can create your own discount by trading in and trading up. Sell us your gear and get cash on the spot, or even get store credit.
Play It Again Sports has something for every athlete. All seasons, all sports, on any budget. We're open every day in the Fairlawn Plaza Mall.
Game on! Jefferson's is the perfect spot to watch the game. Come try our new Loaded Macs, or pull up a seat at the bar and match our cold draft beer with our new Mac Burger. Find us at 29th and Wanamaker in Topeka or online at jeffersons.com.
Well, welcome back to K-Nation. Usually traveling in basketball is a bad thing, but K-State men's basketball just had the trip of a lifetime probably.
Yeah, no whistles blown for this traveling. The Cats just wrapped up a 10-day adventure. They hit up Tel Aviv, they hit up Israel, and they hit up Abu Dhabi, and probably some other stops too. Tang's squad finishes 2-1 in 3 exhibition games, an opening win over the Israeli select team, a close loss to Team Mexico, and then a blowout win over Al Sharjah club to finish the trip, and Tyler Perry was really the star, averaging 22 a game. He scored 33 in the third game, and coach says it, He's the best shooter in the country if you ask Coach Chang, and here's what he said about the trip as a whole.
I thought the first couple of games they looked like they thought they were competing for minutes. And we just talked about that we want to come out here and have fun. Very pleased with the energy and that no one got seriously injured. It's been a great 3 games. It was just a real great team effort, and excited to get back to Manhattan and add David and Quest to this. We're really looking forward to what we can become.
All right, well, it sounds like an exciting trip for sure. The Cats will come on back here and settle in and have fun and then really get to work on the season ahead. K-State did fly back earlier today, and we'll even hear from Coach Chang in a press conference tomorrow.
He's not taking a break.
No, neither are we.
Yeah, and they weren't even when they were overseas, obviously playing, but Tang's staff was also recruiting on the mainland. Quez Glover is a grad transfer from Samford, and now he is the next piece to this basketball puzzle. Glover spent 2 seasons at Florida, 2 seasons at Samford, and now his final year is in Manhattan. He was a 2-time all-conference pick at Samford, averaging 17 points a game.
Yeah, he averaged 20 a game as a junior, and Jerome Tang said that's when he was fully healthy. Last year, a little bit banged up, so really good point guard. Call it a Desi Sills replacement, perhaps. KU hooping for a little bit more than basketball. It's for a good cause. Bill Self partnering up with his former employer, that is the University of Illinois, and head coach Brad Underwood, and that's to announce an exhibition game with the Jayhawks and the Illini, with the proceeds going towards the Maui Fires in Hawaii.
Yeah, last year there was a close scrimmage, but Self wanted to open it up. That matchup will be October 29th at the State Farm Center. That's where Illinois plays and where Self used to coach.
Used to be Assembly Hall, now the State Farm Center.
Thank you for putting that together.
Yeah, I'm an Illinois guy here.
Yeah. Well, stick around. The man behind KU's master plan is joining the show. Travis Goff joins the show one-on-one to break down KU Athletics' major transformation.
Honey, what are you doing?
What? I just fixed the leaky chimney.
Call Certified Fireplace and Chimney. We fix leaky chimneys properly.
Take a little trip to see the original street band, War. Get your tickets at prairieband.com/shows.
Hi, Clay Sherwood here with Frank and Dean, the CEOs of Cube.
And they want to make sure you're keeping your pool clear this summer with Aquasil, a truly chlorine-free solution. Let swims and sweeps keep you cool this summer.
Come on home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
WTC, keeping you connected with the highest quality voice, video, and internet service for businesses in Manhattan.
Sunflower Bank. Simplify your financial solution for today, tomorrow, and life.
Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle.
Come home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
Fidelity Bank is celebrating 100 years, empowering customers since 1922.
Our size is a real benefit to us. We're a big enough bank to take care of large customers, but we're still a small local bank, and that makes us flexible to be able to put loans together for folks quickly and be responsive to their needs.
Fidelity Bank, we do business right here at home.
Do you have water damage from storms? Give Certified Fireplace and Chimney a call before the damage gets worse. We'll inspect your chimney inside and out. Then we'll make any necessary repairs. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Certified Fireplace and Chimney today.
Welcome back to K-Nation. Now, since Lance Leipold has landed in Lawrence, we've seen a big shift in not only KU football, but just all over Lawrence. The morale is high.
Yeah, and even the community and even all parts of Kansas. Athletic Director Travis Goff, well, he's seen it firsthand. And with the big stadium announcement earlier this week, I had to sit down with the KUAD to hear all about the big things coming. Pretty exciting week for KU athletics, to say the least. Everyone's talking about football, but really, I think it spans to all sports. I want to start with this. Is there one thing that you're most excited about the big announcements that we got early in the week?
Well, I mean, I think you kind of hit it on the head in that intro, which is it's going to have an impact so far beyond just one particular program. And frankly, so far beyond athletics, right? And I really think far beyond Lawrence as well. So I think that's a very real dynamic, and we felt that Tuesday with the announcement, that it really resonated with people, that this is a project, Gateway District and David Booth Cancer Memorial Stadium, that's going to really impact so much of this great state. and the community and obviously fans and student athletes. And so I just think about the magnitude of the constituent implications. That's it. That's really exciting.
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about that. When I was reading up, I'm talking about the economic impact and the jobs it will create.
Yeah.
There's a moment where I don't know about you, but I thought to myself, oh, we're not talking about football anymore.
I mean, in fact, when I'm reading through that release time and again before the announcement, I'm stumbling over the billion, right? When we're talking about billions of dollars of impact, you're thinking, is that supposed to be an M instead of a B? And that's just the way it is. And the reality is, if you narrow it down a little bit more to football, right? Football has incredible impact and implications in our society. That's not a Kansas thing, and that's a societal thing. Our society and our country loves football, ingrains itself in that sport in such a really neat way. And so the far-reaching impact of that is really, really tremendous as well.
We heard from Lance the other day just about the feedback that he's gotten from the community, whether that be people just stopping him to thank him or whatever it is. Have you seen that as well? I think Lawrence, Kansas is in the surrounding areas are fired up to have a football team that can get them fired up.
Yeah, no question. People have been excited. People have been appreciative. People have paid close attention because it's not just about getting to that 6-win mark last year. It's not just about getting to the Liberty Bowl. It's about the way the program is representing KU, and it's about the way Lance and his staff have embedded themselves in the community. They're passionate about the university. They're passionate about Lawrence and this part of the state and the state as well. And then our young men, like I think our fan base, our supporters are really excited about the kind of young men that we have representing Kansas football.
And I think this could impact kids across the state who maybe are Jayhawk fans but weren't necessarily football fans because they didn't have as much to be fired up about, but now they are.
No doubt. I mean, you think about, again, whether it be Southwest Kansas, Western Kansas, growing up in the state, and hey, credit to Kansas State and obviously Coach Snyder and this now long-standing tradition in football for their institution, because it's made a difference in building their fan base. It's made a difference in obviously student interest and all those great things. We've long had that at KU, more so centered around the basketball brand and the basketball tradition. But the reality is we should expect it for all. And we know that success in football is going to do wonders for the institution. We know it's going to do wonders in developing the next generation of Jayhawks.
What would you say to someone who says, we got NIL going on, we have all this, what should I do, where should I do it, how can I help?
Yeah, lots of different answers to that. And I think it starts with a real simple one. Show up and be there, right? Be there, so to speak, in the arena, so to speak. Be there with this football program this fall. Be at our games. Buy season tickets. Tell your family, your friends, your neighborhood to get on board with this program. Extrapolate from there. What is an element of these other opportunities that gets you excited? Could it be, supporting student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If that feels good, then step into that space. Could it be, obviously philanthropic giving and support in other ways? Absolutely. We're encouraging and imploring people to step in and be part of that. I just think it's a time in general where people need to look in the mirror. I've had to do that. We all have to, and say, am I doing enough to impact the place I love?
2023 season ticket holders will have first dibs at 2024 tickets. Is that right?
In fact, not just first dibs, but I really believe, because we're going to have to squeeze this capacity down, we'll only have the permanent, the east side will be retained after we demo this winter, and then we'll do our best to bring in auxiliary seating, but we're going to be in the 20,000s. Just don't know if it's going to be low or mid or a little bit higher. I firmly believe that unless you're a season ticket holder this fall, 2023, you're not going to be in that facility, and we're going to have a pretty good, fun team to watch.
And if you don't think that 20,000 can be fun, then you've never seen 16,300
there you
in
go.
Allen Fieldhouse.
Well,
on that note, I'll end on a fun one for you. I got to ask, is the University of Kansas a football school now?
It's an everything school. It's an everything school, and that's what I love about it. KU has long been represented by this crown jewel program, Kansas basketball. I think every day about how do we make sure we're not just sitting idle for basketball at KU, how are we continuing to invest in fuel and elevate this incredible men's basketball program, and then also what are we doing to elevate women's basketball at KU? That'll never change. The answer is, can we be all? The without hesitation, we can, and I think that's being demonstrated right now.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I think it is a football school and a basketball school, and with Coach Fitzgerald, a baseball school soon, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, sweet. Thanks for your time, man. Typically to the athletes, I say good luck this season. For you, I'll say good luck on the upcoming project.
Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate you, man.
And we really do appreciate his time because he was a busy guy this week. A lot going on.
Oh, God, that was a very busy week.
Yes, he squeezed us in. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, coming up after the break on K-Nation, Pearson McAtee from Wildcat NIL is in the house.
Look at the kicks.
Yeah, he talks about the evolving world of NIL and how it could be better as a former athlete himself. Stick around.
Searching for a career in advanced manufacturing or industrial automation? Manhattan Area Technical College's new Industrial Engineering Technology applies science and engineering through theory and hands-on application of skills. Learn more at manhattantech.edu.
Properties that are for sale by owner are typically on the market longer, sell for significantly less, and leave a seller open to potential legal problems than those properties sold with the assistance of a realtor. A home may be the largest and most complicated transaction you'll ever make. Trust a realtor with the ethics, expertise, and education to act in your best interest and guide you through the process. Find homes for sale in Northeast Kansas and a Sunflower Association realtor member that's right for you at sunflowerrealtors.com.
New Sound visitors, they become our family because that's the least you deserve. Listening to loved ones, that's a gift. New Sound will help you give that gift to your loved ones because that's the least they deserve.
Hi, this is Voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you will be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. For 24/7 non-judgmental support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Doughboys Pizzeria, a family restaurant in North Topeka, serving fresh pizza with our signature sauce, award-winning wings, awesome appetizers, and desserts, with outdoor dining and entertainment. Call or order online at doughboys.pizza.
Manhattan Area Technical College will help you build a foundation for your college career, like transferable credits offered in your high school, earning your high school diploma through GED completion on our campus. Break through to a new career. Manhattan Tech, providing higher education.
Welcome back to K-Nation. Now we're going to take some time and dabble in the world of NIL. We've all heard about it, we kind of see it, but we've only seen it from one side.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack, and we got a special guest just for that. So Pearson McAtee is here from Wildcat NIL. You work with them. You also played for the Cats for a few years from Manhattan, Kansas. So this guy knows about everything there is to know about Wildcat basketball. Pearson, let's start with this, man. What made you decide you wanted to get involved in the NIL space, and it was something that you're passionate about?
Yeah, great question. First of all, thanks for having me on K-Nation. Love everyone that's tuning in here. You guys always do a great job.
Thank you.
You know, for me, I'm a partner and wealth advisor at Prime Capital Investment Advisors right now as well. So kind of the financial education side of things is really what got me into NIL. Then kind of coming together with Ryan Hennington, Curry Sexton, Jesse Ertz, a bunch of other people that have helped out, former K-Staters, to come together and help these kids figure out, all right, you're in this position, you've got a lot of things on your mind, but let's keep the two at the forefront, which is school and ball. And as long as those two are taking care of themselves, we'll help take care of the NIL side of things at Wildcat NIL.
Nice. And NIL has, since its inception, has kind of changed, and it's probably going to continue to change for a while. How do you guys just adapt to those changes?
Yeah, it's tough. It's constantly moving, but you know, being in it about a year and a half now, you know, we've constantly moved and changed with the changing times. And for us, we just joined the Collective Association, which has 17 other members that are kind of at the forefront of, all right, what's this going to look like going forward as we solidify what NIL is going to be. And to be in the conversation as K-State on a national presence is going to be super important. So as we're in constant communication with our athletic department, coaches, players, everything, we've also got that national presence now to be able to go and see what this and kind of set what it's going to look like going forward.
There's lots of mixed feelings about NIL out there. How have you seen the impacts of it with K-State student athletes specifically? Because I think a lot of people just think, okay, the starting quarterback who already maybe was doing all right, now he's going to have a little bit more money to throw around. But I think this impacts student athletes and their families who are sometimes in need.
Absolutely, yeah. NIL has provided an abundance of resources to a lot of different people, and one of the first things that our group did was a walk-on initiative. So me being a former walk-on, helping those that are having to pay for their school and maybe trying to find other ways to make money on top of their busy class and athletic schedules. This provides them comfort to be able to maybe not go into have as much student loan debt, be able to provide for themselves. And then I know there's another story of a student athlete that was able to help move his family to a better part of where they're from originally, and a little brother that really needed a lot more hands-on learning to go to a better academic program and to have his family in a better position, so he's not worried about them back home. Those were the coolest and the most heartwarming stories that we're really trying to have an impact on at K-State.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you guys aren't directly involved with the university, so how do you keep those ties so close?
Of course. I mean, we'd be as close as we possibly can with them, and I think vice versa. We're totally compliant with NCAA rules, everything that's currently out there in the guidance. But like I said, being a part of the collective association, we're really on the forefront and the forethought of what it's going to look like in the future. And so there's constant open dialogue and communication, legally, of course, between the coaches, players, administration, all the above. So we've got a great relationship and really appreciate K-State and all that they do for their student athletes.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. NIL is the hot topic, and I feel like we thought when we were getting NIL that maybe it was, well, you do a paid promotion or a commercial and you get a little cash.
Show up to a car dealership.
It sometimes feels like now we're getting free agents in college. We need your solution to NIL for the whole world of college athletics
right now.
Yeah, it's tough to say. For K-State, we're really lucky. Gene Taylor hired a bunch of phenomenal coaches, and obviously the two at everyone's mind is Coach Kleiman and Coach Tang. Speaking with them and their staffs pretty frequently, they're finding kids that are going to come to K-State for the right reasons, and so when they lead with that and they know if a kid came in and talked about NIL first, maybe their heart's not in the right place, them having the correct cultures in place is really what sets NIL. From that standpoint forward, we have everything that we need to be able to make sure that the kids are able to stay here, stay eligible, and want to be in Manhattan going forward. So starting off by getting them here for the right reasons is the most important thing, and we're lucky at K-State that we have that.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Pearson, thanks so much for your time, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate everything you do for K-State sports, because if K-State sports are no fun, then our job's no fun.
This is true.
All right, hey, stick with us. More K-Nation comes your way right after a break.
2023 Country Stampede was a blast, and now is the time to renew tickets and camping for Country Stampede 2024. Call 785-539-2222. That's 785-539-2222. More Country Stampede announcements coming soon.
Summer won't last forever, but during Toyota's national sales event, you can make memories that will.
Come on. There you go.
Whoa.
Where's my mom? Just be in the moment.
Right now, current Toyota owners or lessees may qualify for $1,000 loyalty cash on the lease of new 2023 Toyota vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
At Cox Mobile, we know other mobile companies like you to stay put with one type of plan. But we know life can take you anywhere, which is why you get the freedom to choose a data plan that actually fits you and the ease of changing it up anytime. Choose between pay-as-you-gig or gig unlimited, all while running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability. Flexibility feels good. Cox Mobile, we're different because you're different.
Imagine looking at life through the eyes of a child, being filled with wonder and excitement about what the future holds. Lewis Toyota knows a strong community starts with those who will one day lead us. We want to thank 501 for letting us be a part of their school district.
Support local.
At Caw Valley Bank, we're here to greet you with a smile. While the trend may be going less personal and virtual tellers, we have options. Banking online, ATM, mobile app, or in person. We have the same friendly service you've been able to count on for over 150 years. Caw Valley Bank. Trust the strength of the Caw.
2023 Country Stampede was a blast, and now is the time to renew tickets and camping for Country Stampede 2024. Call 785-539-2222. That's 785-539-2222. More Country Stampede announcements coming soon.
All right, last thing for you tonight. It's always a good week when Lance Leipold comes to the capital city to visit just us.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Not just us, though. Coach was in Topeka on Wednesday with the Topeka Jayhawk Club. If you missed it, we did have Lance live on our 6 p.m. newscast, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always cool when he comes, especially after the big week they had, but that's all we got. Thanks for watching K-Nation.
We'll see you next week. Have a good night.
I think it's just kind of the perfect storm. Everything's coming together at the right time.
The excitement's through the roof. So that's their job, is to keep the same momentum that we have right now
and turn it up a whole nother level.
Tyler's the best shooter in America. I mean, and he's gonna shoot at a high clip all season long.